So what happens when a company hits a home run? A massive, blockbuster success that changes everything. Well, that's exactly the story we're diving into today with NATCO Pharma. It's one of the most interesting challenges in business, really.
It all boils down to this single question. What do you do after that billion-dollar success story starts to lose its shine? For NATCO Pharma, this isn't just some business school case study. No, this is their reality, right now.
And that's exactly where we find them. This is a company standing at a true crossroads. Their incredible past has led them to this moment, a turning point where the next move is absolutely critical.
So at its heart, NATCO is what's called a high-margin specialty pharma company. And you know what? They are brilliant at it. But their recent massive success, the thing that put them on the map, really came from a single product. Now they're right in the middle of this huge pivot, trying to turn that one giant pillar of success into a much broader, more diversified foundation for the future.
The first clues about where NATCO is heading are actually hiding in plain sight, their latest financial report. So let's play detective for a minute, decode these Q2 numbers, and see what they're really telling us.
At first glance, on the surface, everything looks pretty good. Total revenue for the quarter came in at over 14.6 billion rupees, a solid, steady number. You'd look at that and think, hey, business is good. But if you look just a little bit deeper, a very different picture starts to emerge. So now, let's look at the bottom line, the profit after tax. It's sitting around 5.2 billion rupees. Now, by itself, that number doesn't really tell us much. The real story, the plot twist, happens when we compare it to last year. And this is where the puzzle really shows up. Look at this chart. Profits are down, and not just by a little. They've dropped by over 20% from the same time last year. So that's the big question, right? If revenue is stable, where on earth did all that profit go? The answer is hidden in where their money comes from.
This chart right here, it tells us pretty much everything. Almost 80%, think about that, 80% of their revenue comes from just one place. Export formulations. That's a fancy way of saying finished drugs sold overseas, mainly in the super profitable and super competitive US market. This one single focus is the key to their entire strategy.
So, to really get where NATCO is going, we've got to rewind and understand the brilliant, high-stakes playbook that got them to this point in the first place.
It's all built around this idea called para-IV, or first to file. Okay, the best way to think about it is like a hit song. A huge company has a #1 smash hit and it's protected by a patent. NATCO's whole game is to be the very first company to legally challenge that patent and release their own generic version. If they win that court battle, they get an exclusive 180-day window where they are the only generic on the market. It is incredibly high risk, but man, the reward can be absolutely massive.
And NATCO's rocket ship to the moon? It was a generic version of a drug called Revlimid, a wildly successful treatment for multiple sclerosis. This single product was the engine that just printed money for them, generating insane profits and fueling their incredible growth. But that exclusive 180-day window? Well, it's closing. And that explains the big profit dip we just saw.
So what do you do with all the cash from a huge win like that? Well, NATCO isn't just sitting back and counting their money. No way. They are aggressively taking that cash and betting on the future, investing heavily to find their next blockbuster. Just take a look at their product pipeline. These are some of the biggest names in medicine right now. They're going after generics for drugs that treat diabetes and weight loss, like Ozempic and Wegovy, and also major cancer drugs like Kyprolis. We are talking about targeting absolutely massive global markets, but believe me, they are not stopping there. They're also pushing into the absolute next generation of treatments. They've invested in something called CAR T cell therapy, which is incredible stuff. It's essentially re-engineering a patient's own immune cells to hunt down and fight leukemia. And they even have their own new oral drug for head and neck cancer that's already in phase 2 trials. This shows some serious ambition. And then, some of their bets are straight out of science fiction. Seriously. They've invested in a company called eGenesis, which is working on developing human-compatible organs for transplants from genetically engineered pigs. It's meant to solve the organ shortage. And they're also backing iStem, a company working on a cell therapy to treat age-related blindness. Wow. These are bold, futuristic plays.
So you've got this incredible story, right? A massive win in the past and a whole portfolio of really ambitious, even futuristic bets. So what does Wall Street, or in this case, to Wall Street, think about all this.
Right now, the market is pretty much in a wait-and-see mode. You can see it right there in the stock chart. It's caught in this tug of war. For the bulls, the people who are optimistic, a sustained move above 1,050 rupees would be a great sign that the downturn is over. For the bears, if it drops below 750, that suggests there's probably more pain to come. The stock is essentially trapped in this range, waiting for a signal.
And this uncertainty in the market, it's tied directly to the real-world business risks. First, you've got product concentration, the very problem they're trying so hard to solve. Second, their whole high-risk business model means they live in a world of constant patent battles and regulatory headaches. And finally, there's simple execution risk. All that spending on futuristic R&D is great, but if those big bets don't pay off, it could absolutely crush their profits.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. What is the core story here, and what does the next chapter really hold for NATCO Pharma?
Here's the most important thing to understand. We are watching a company right in the middle of a super high-stakes transformation. They're trying to evolve from being the company with that one huge hit into a diversified, long-term innovator with a whole portfolio of successes. It's like trying to go from being a one-hit wonder to a legendary band with a full catalog of hits.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question. NATCO's first huge, high-risk bet paid off spectacularly. It was a home run. Now as they place all these new chips on the table, on everything from weight loss drugs to pig organs to cures for blindness, will lightning strike twice? Well, we're all going to have to wait and see. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.